Hey, how you doing today? I am Tequila Coleman. In today's video, I'm going to answer the question how to know if you are idolizing the promise of marriage or your God ordained spouse while waiting. How to know, if you're idolizing and how can you stop it, okay? This was one of the questions that was sent in from one of our God ordained spouses, right? So, you are idolizing your promise of marriage when marriage is the only thing you seem to can only think about, right? It's like soon as you wake up in the morning, marriage is on your brain. All throughout the day, all you're thinking about is marriage. Right before you go to bed, you're thinking about marriage, right? So marriage is just consuming you, right? So that is a sign that now, the promise of marriage has now turned into idolatry. Okay. Another sign to know that you are idolizing the promise or even your spouse is because you're single, right? So whenever we begin to look to our God ordained spouse, whether they are prodigal or not, whenever we begin to look to them for all the answers, right? Or we look into them to lead and guide us while we are single. Because you have to understand that while you are single, your husband is the Lord, right? Even though he told you that this is your God ordained spouse, still your husband is the Lord while you are single, okay? And so if you are looking to your spouse to give you all the answers or to lead and guide you, right? That has now turned into idolatry because God want you to come to him, okay? Concerning everything in your life, okay? And because you are single, God is your husband. So we are to look to God for the leading and guiding. Okay. This is his marriage. Okay. God ordained marriage. So this is God's marriage. So we have to go back to God and get the leading, get the guidance from him. Okay. And not, always looking to our spouse. Okay. And I'll throw in another one too, because a lot of, you all ask me a lot of questions. So I could become, y'all could turn me into an idol, right? Because if you're turning to me and asking me questions, right, before you ask God, then that is another sign of idolatry, okay? So idolatry, is whatever you put before God, okay? So God, He created His children, so that we can always come back to Him, be in relationship with Him, talk to Him, look to Him for guidance, concerning our lives, because He is our Father and He know the plan, the purpose and plan for our life, right? So that's another, thing you can look for. Disobedience, is another sign that lets you know, okay, I am stepping over into idolatry because again, if I'm being disobedient to maybe God is telling me to stop checking or stop operating this way and start operating this way, right? But yet I'm being disobedient. Now I'm putting whatever I'm checking, right? Whatever I can't seem to stop doing and God has told me to stop doing, now I just turned that into my God, right? And so now I'm off into idolatry. And so, and I have to say that because that's where God had to correct me at. I had turned checking the social media into idolatry, right? Until God, He just stepped in and told me, He said, listen, the wrestling stops today. Okay. He said, I'm not going to keep going back and forth with you. Right. And so that was all I needed to get my act together. Okay. So just understand, disobedience, whatever you are uh choosing to disobey, I mean whatever, like if God telling you to do this and then you disobey him to do that, that now has become your God. Okay. So how can you stop it? When we talk about how to stop, just idolizing the promise and your spouse, you want to repent. Okay. So you always want to repent for idolatry. You want to rebuke the spirit of idolatry off of your life. Okay. And begin to ask God to help you to not idolize the promise or even your spouse, okay? And He will help you, okay? Another way how you can stop is just make a decision to start wrestling with God. Just when God had to come in and check me, it was more so the tone of voice God used with me. There's a certain tone that God will use with me. It's a fatherly tone, and it does scare me. And because he said to me, I'm not going to go back and forth with you, I was like, let me get it together. Right. So I just made a decision in that moment. I said, okay, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it, for me to keep on checking, being disobedient when God want me to operate this way. So let me just go ahead, be obedient. And I asked God to give me strength, to just not check, and he did it. I had to take it one day at a time. So do the same thing. Okay, make a decision. I'm gonna start wrestling with what God is telling me to do, how He is telling me to operate, and I'm gonna pray and ask God to help me with this. One day at a time. We walking this out together, and watch how you begin to shift from being disobedient to now obedient to the Father. Okay. Um, and also understand when we talk about how can you stop, just understanding what idolatry is. It's whatever you put before God. So God must come first. Okay. God must come first. So if you have a question, go to God first, right? Go to him, ask him the question, and then you could go to someone else and ask, other people. Or if you're looking for guidance, or just someone to lead you, go to God. Okay. Because you're single right now, so God is your husband. Okay. He wants to lead you. He want to be the one who guides you. Okay. So just understand that. Okay. So those are some ways. You might also need deliverance. Okay. If none of these are working for you and you just can't seem to stop obsessing, um and all these other things, you might have to go through deliverance. Okay. So just keep these things in mind when we talk about, how to stop idolizing the promise of marriage and your spouse. Just really, and I'll add this in there too, because I say this all the time. I used to operate this way all of last year, but this year I shift my focus onto my purpose. Okay. I stopped waiting. Okay. Because I'm not even gonna lie. Last year I was waiting on him to come and choose me. I was waiting, before I do certain things, then I'll do it when he get here. I'm no longer waiting. I shifted my mindset to, I'm living for tequila. I'm living for today. When he come, it'll be a blessing. I will be happy, but I'm not placing my happiness, or I'm not waiting, for anyone. That's the mindset I have. And so I'm living like on purpose and in purpose. Okay. And I'm just really taking back control of my life. And I just noticed when I shift into this mindset of, I'm going after what I want. Okay. I'm building my business. If I want to go out of town next week, I'm going. If I want to buy a house, I'm buying it. I'm not going to wait until my spouse come to buy a house. No, we're just going to have two houses. Okay. And we might have to go ahead and sell one of the houses. I'm just really living on purpose because I don't have time to waste. That's my mindset. And so with a mindset shift, that can help you to stop idolizing the promise of marriage and even your spouse. Okay. So that's my advice to you in this video. I am Tequila Coleman. Let me know down in the comment section, for those of you who are tuning in, what are some things that you are doing that is helping you to not idolize marriage or even your spouse? Comment below so that whoever is watching, when they read your comment, it just may help them. Okay. So that is it. I am Tequila Coleman. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it out with another God ordained spouse. I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care.